Hi, my name is Lois, and I'm here to share the story of how I went from looking like this to looking like this. I've lost 55 kilos, and I get asked every day, what did you do? What happened? So if you're here, it means you want to listen to the whole story, and this is how it began. And before I get into it, I just want to give a few disclaimers. One, everyone thinks that I did this for aesthetic reasons, and that can't be further from the truth. Personally, I believe that beauty is not a size. I believe that you can be beautiful at any size, at any weight, in any skin tone, with any hairstyle, with, name it. Whether your nose is wide or narrow, whether your eyes are big or small, beauty is not a size. And so I didn't do this for aesthetic reasons. I did this for health reasons more than anything. And I just don't want this whole celebration of my achievement to make anyone feel less than, or to feel bad about their weight or the way they look, because this is not that. We don't do that over here. So what changed in 2023 is I saw a doctor. I wanted to have a medical procedure done. And I thought they would tell me, oh, lose 5 kilos or something like that, or maybe not even bring up my weight at all. I was so shocked when they when they asked me to lose 30 kilos. I just looked at the doctor in disbelief. I asked him, do you know what losing 30 kilos means? And he's like, if you don't lose the weight first before the procedure, the high chances that the procedure won't be successful. And then, you're using all this money and all that. So I said, okay, let me try and reflect on that. I, sat down, had my strategy, and I said, I'm going to try and lose the weight. At this time, I had already considered gastric bypass. I had considered weight loss surgery anyway in about 2018 when I gained a bunch of weight. But, because of a number of factors, I didn't have it and continued on struggling. At the time, my husband was also not on board for the surgery. But by the time we were seated in front of the doctor in 2023, and he had seen how much effort I had actually put into trying to lose weight, and I kept failing and I just kept gaining more weight, he was finally like, you know what, Lois, remember the surgery you mentioned? I think I've finally accepted that this may be something that would help you. And I was shocked. Previously I had not done the surgery because of him, because I was like, oh, he's not on board. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. And now here he is agreeing with me. So I was really taken aback, and I was the one who went on the defensive and said, no, let me first try everything else and, be sure. So I made the decision that I wanted to lose weight. And now I started the planning stage. So the planning stage was something like me, on one hand, acknowledging that I probably was going to need surgery, and on the other hand, exploring every other plan and every other option that I had to make sure I don't get to surgery. So as I mentioned, I had done this course called APPG, which helps you, plan your entire life. And so my main goals were around physical health, and I was pursuing that with everything in me. I had an accountability partner, and would meet once a month to assess how I'm doing on my goals, and set new goals for the next month. And so every time we'd meet, we would see that I was achieving some of my goals, but it was not translating into the weight loss that I needed. There was a sticking point. I needed help. Even when I started a new diet, I was overwhelmed. My body couldn't be sustained on these low calorie diets that I was subjecting it to. The cravings were intense. I felt like I couldn't, they would deliver food for a day, and, the breakfast, the lunch, and the supper, and I couldn't eat just the breakfast because I would be starving in like an hour's time. Um, you know, it was grueling, it was tough, but it helped me identify what exactly was missing, and that I needed help. And so I decided to ask for help. I reached out to the Nairobi bariatric team through a friend. A friend had given me their number, but I would also saw them online, and saw their contacts and etc. Reached out to them. We arranged for an appointment and had an appointment online. I found out about the costs and everything that I would need to do surgery, but a part of me was still not fully convinced. So I went ahead and, checked on YouTube, on Instagram, and looked out for creators who had had this surgery. I followed them and listened to their experiences. I watched their videos. I watched their stories from when they'd had the surgery, the post-op, what to expect, what are the things they regret, name it. So, of course, I'm a busy person and I don't have much time. So the time I used was my transit time on the way to work, during my work commute, to and fro work. I just would put on these podcasts or put on these videos and just listen to what they were saying. So as I'm driving, I would listen. And I gained so much knowledge, especially from a patient's perspective. I'm a surgeon, so I already knew the medicine. I already knew, where they cut and where they join and everything like that. But I needed to hear from someone who had lived through the experience to sort of prepare myself. And the more I listened, I realized I can do this. I can do this actually, and it's not that scary. And I realized that a lot of them had a lot in common with me. The struggles I was having are the same struggles they were having. And so it just made sense. I listened to their stories, I talked to the bariatric team, and I made my decision. And, all this time that I was listening to their stories, I was putting aside money. Because if there's one thing APPG has taught me is that, you need to plan and have a complete plan. So from the time I found out how much it was, I was like, let me put aside this money. If something happens and I'm able to lose the weight on my own, yeah, I'll celebrate this money. I'll go on vacation. I'll, buy myself something nice. But if it doesn't work out, then by the time I make the decision, I should have the money to do it. So I put up my money just a little bit at a time. And so by the time I made the decision, it was easy for me to just, go ahead and execute it. So I tried keto, I tried intermittent fasting, I tried juicing, I worked with a nutritionist, I got a trainer. I did everything that I thought I could do. And it would work for a bit. You'd lose 5 kilos, then you fall off and gain 8. You lose 10, and then you gain 12. And it was just this never-ending cycle. And finally, at the end of 2023, when I sat down to analyze, I was now 140 kgs. So I had gained 10 more kilos from the time the doctor had asked me to lose weight. So at that point, I knew that surgery was basically the thing that I had to do, and I decided to get on with it.